that are celebrating. You know, up here in Canada, we're always in a debate as to what the actual holiday is. Is it the Good Friday? Is it the Monday? So I'm here today because by Easter Monday, you've at least had one meal or two possibly under your belt, maybe more. And we wanted to do a post-Easter workout today, but I thought I'd take the opportunity to do a little bit of information about, should you exercise, or how should you exercise if you've indulged and had a big meal? Easter is certainly one of them, where we probably put a few more variety of items on our plate, but we also have a tendency to have more and consume more in that one sitting. And then you got dessert and everything that comes with it. So, around the holidays, we do tend to, let's call it, binge eat. And it's hard to say no to a lot of those traditional holiday favorites. But should you exercise? It's not a swimming thing. Certainly you should be maybe active. If you have had a big meal, I would suggest within the last 3 to 4 hours, you could do your traditional exercise. But if you've eaten in the last hour or two, I don't recommend a massive workout. Your tummy is fuller. You're carrying a lot more salts and other goodness in your belly than maybe your traditional menu might entail. But there are reasons to be active instead of just transferring to the couch. Hello, JJ Galvin. And if you are joining me today post-feast, pre-feast, you didn't get a feast, wherever you're joining me from, let me know where you're from. Hello, Kim from Campbell River, up here in Canada, where it's summer there, but it's winter where I am still, it seems. But yeah, let me know where you're from, what you ate, where you celebrated, and if you did overeat. And today what I'm going to do is give you a few tips. If you did overeat, a few things that you can do to make yourself feel better, help with the tummy and the digestion. And then if you are that diligent person and you're doing your workout today, it doesn't matter how much you ate. Like I say, 3 to 4 hours post indulgence, there's reasons you'd want to do a vigorous workout, and we'll get into some of the benefits of that as well. Today, I'm going to primarily focus, of course, on my favorite thing, which is the vibration machine. But Lifepro has so many tools at your disposal. Mix it up if you've got a few of those tools. JJ is from the Buffalo area, and it's snowing there this evening. We've kind of had this snowball effect off, and I see it's in the forecast all week for us too. So if you're in a nicer environment, certainly getting out and just going for a light walk, nothing too intensive, a light walk around the house if you're stuck inside, if it's snowing, even just getting up and doing the dishes. Hi, Diane from Connecticut. And I'm going to get to some questions at the end of this if you have any questions specific to what you should be doing after a big meal or specific to your vibration machine. But if you're just coming off a big meal and you're feeling kind of poopy and it's really easy to surrender to the couch or the recliner, please don't do that. Come with me. Get up off the table. We're gonna pretend we just had this big old meal. And what we're gonna do is a little bit of a light workout. So we're gonna do 2 workouts today. We're gonna do a light one. So if you have just eaten, the worst thing that you can do is retire to the couch, and lay down is the worst thing that you can do. It slows down that digestion. It's going to contribute if you've got indigestion, acid reflux, any of those things. Laying down and doing nothing is really the last thing you want to do, even though it might be the first thing you feel like doing. We're going to get our machine going. For those of you that are joining me, whether it be a light or you progress with me through a more of an intense workout, for those of you that suffer from poor mobility, fatigue, joint pain, maybe you're all swollen from standing in that kitchen making that turkey or ham all day, or whatever it is that you were doing in the kitchen, just sitting and putting your feet on the plate as I like to start my sessions, good 90-degree angle in the legs, just to get some lymph and some circulation going. The reason you want to keep your activities light, if you're within a short period after a big meal, is you don't want to do too much activity, a bunch of big squats or a bunch of weights, because you want the blood to go to your tummy to help aid in digestion. You don't want to divert it to different body parts. So if you go for a big brisk uphill walk, your body's going to require that blood for the legs, and it's going to compete with the digestion system. But certainly getting things moving, You know, it's going to aid in digestion. It's going to level out blood sugar levels if you're a diabetic or that's something that you're prone to monitoring. So a little bit of light activity, just putting your legs on the plate. A light workout I would like a little bit more than sitting. So for those of you that are able, and for those of you that are just sitting here listening to me ramble, feel free to just continue to join me in the chair. But a light workout, we've been sitting, we've been eating, we've been talking. Let's get some blood going throughout the body. We're going to do 3 sit-to-stands. I'm at a mid-speed range, so if your machine goes 60, I'm using oscillating at about the 20 to 30 range. We're going to have those feet hip-width apart. If you're finding this is too intense or too strong at any time, leave the speed or the level alone and bring your feet a little bit closer. You're always in control with the position of your foot. So we're just going to stand up. We're going to keep a slight bend in those knees. We're going to hold for about 2 to 3 seconds, and then we're going to sit back down. Okay? Sit again for about 2 to 3 seconds. Keep those heels planted. Try using your legs as much as possible if you're using the machine with handles or you're at the back of a couch or the edge of a counter. The goal is to get the legs stronger. I'm kind of trying to trick you without you realizing. So try using your legs and your own body weight and balance to get into this position as much as possible. We're going to sit back down, and we're going to take another breather for about 2 to 3 seconds. We're going to do one more rep, and then we're going to wind into some pelvic tilts. And if you're joining me with a full tummy, we're doing a light workout. We're not doing an intensive workout. We recommend that more like 3 to 4 hours post big meal. So we're going to stand up for our third rep. And what we're going to do from here, we're going to keep the knees slightly bent. We're not standing so tall that you hear it in my voice. See, just bending those knees enough, you'll hear nothing in the voice, and it'll be limited kind of to the rib cage and the shoulders. And we've been sitting, we've been eating, we've been laughing. We're probably a little bigger around the midsection. So let's just loosen things up in that area with a couple of pelvic tilts or little hula swirls. Just get some movement going for about 30 seconds to a minute. And if you're preparing a big meal and you got folks coming over and you've been standing in that kitchen too long and the hips in the back are getting sore, this is something you could do just for a minute or two, just to break up the fatigue and all the standing if you're on the opposite end of the equation. But for those of you that are joining me after a big meal and you just want to feel a little bit better, you don't quite feel like doing the dishes, a little bit of light movements, like I say, going to aid that indigestion, prevent any indigestion. It's going to aid in digestion, and it's going to level out those blood sugar levels for those of you that's a concern. So that's really, you're going to feel better already. You're going to feel lighter. You're still going to feel full, but it's going to help get things moving. There's lots of reasons that you would want to do some light activity. What I just did there might have been a little too light. It's not really what you may consider a workout, but if you're just joining me, the big goal, if you've had a big meal, and you've got a really full tummy, you don't want to do a whole bunch of vigorous exercise right after your meal. Generally speaking, if you've got your own routine and your own thing that you adhere to, that's absolutely up to your own preference. But I recommend generally, if you're not overly active, the goal here is not to hit the couch and be less active. It's just going to sit there longer. For those of you, we're going to fast forward. We had our meal yesterday or earlier in the day, and we are 3 to 4 hours post big meal. You may want to engage in some more intensive activity for a couple of different reasons. The intensity could be, anything maybe like doing some cardio and you want to do a bike workout. A light bike would be a good way to just do post meal. But if you want to get some intensity going, some cardio, you've got your ellipticals, you've got your bikes, we've got weights, we've got vibration machines. So 3 to 4 hours post activity, why would we want to exercise? Well, if you're the type of person that's diligent, you'd want to do your workout anyways. For those of you that aren't so regular, but you just ate, a month's worth of calories in one sitting and you feel like doing something about it, we are going to progress from the pelvic tilt warm up, and we're going to get into some step ups. Now, depending on your level of health and your level of conditioning, what the main goal with this is to keep a good pace. And how we're going to start is we're going to step up, down. The knees are slightly bent while we're on the platform. If you're not terribly active, or you're dealing with joint pain or swelling or inflammation, just keep a moderate pace. If your goal is to have a little bit more cardio, burn a few more calories, get rid of some of that extra gravy that you've consumed, double up your time. Step it up, okay? What pace? What I don't want is jumping. If you want to go jump on an aerobic step or jump off the curb, okay? Respect the equipment. Just slowly step up onto it, okay? How wide you step up on the intensity, okay? I like to be about hip width apart. I find for me that's most comfortable. If your feet are too wide or too narrow and you're dealing with poor balance, you might find that you're wobbling and stabilizing yourself more than getting the cardio going. So I'd say 1 to 2 minutes to get a good pace. If you're planning on doing other activities, this might have been just a warm-up in itself to do those things. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to get into some squats, okay? So I'm going to turn this just a little bit, okay? And if weight loss is the goal or getting rid of the extra gravy from today is the goal, the biggest group of muscles is your quads and your glutes. So anything that you can do to engage those muscles and push them to fatigue is when we're going to start making body composition changes. We're going to start burning calories. So I want you to just pretend that chair is still there. For those of you dealing with arthritis, poor mobility, bad joints, anything like that, don't move. Just hold still. You'll feel the pressure, those micro movements of the platform building. If you're finding that you're pooping out or it's hard on the knees, bring your angle up a little bit. I don't want you just standing. I want you to feel somewhere below the waist engaged. If you come up a little bit taller, you'll feel it more in this area. If you come up even a little bit taller and you start feeling it in the hips, you'll feel there's no action on the legs to the same degree. So you want to be low enough that you're feeling the quads do the work, and you'll feel the calves engaged as well. You want to keep your heels planted. How long you would do this for? 1 to 2 minutes. If you're not fatiguing within 1 to 2 minutes, make it harder for you. Your range of motion, endurance, conditioning, it differs for everybody. So if your squat looks more like this, okay, maybe add some weight, some dynamic movement, whatever your style of squat is right now, the goal is to fatigue within 1 to 2 minutes. So I like to keep my workouts short, simple, less moves the better. We're going to move into kind of a mix of a variation of a plank and a push-up. And I'm going to get this out of my way so I'm not bonking myself. Okay, for those of you that have seen my sessions before, I am not a big fan of forearms on the machine, but we're going to do a push-up and we're going to do some walking out and back with our feet to get the core going. I'm going to ditch my glasses. I want your hands about hip width or shoulder width apart, and the key with a push-up to minimize the vibrations to the head is to not be looking at your hands. If your head is right above your hands, you're going to get the most head shake. Push your body just slightly forward till the shoulders are above the hands. It's not harmful, but it does take some getting used to, and if you're all distracted and you're fighting the itchiness on your nose, you're not paying attention to what's going on with your lower body. So if you're just starting push-ups for the first time, this might be a good starting point. For those of you that are here to burn calories and doing these things now, I want you up on your toes. And what I meant by a walk in and walk out, I want that core engaged. And I just want your legs straight. Come up to a shoulder press. Hold. Walking back out. Hold. 2 to 3. I'm going to run out of time. This way. I'm still at a mid-speed. Okay. And again, we're going to walk up. Keeping our shoulders above our hands. Relax your head. And walk back. You might do 5 to 10 reps of this. Depends on your level of conditioning. Once you get your bum above your shoulders, you'll feel a shift into the neck and the shoulders and the infrastructure that's holding you up. Okay? If you find your arms are pooping out before your legs, you can drop. Just drop to the knees and hold still. Or, if you're fatiguing right away and that was too impossible, you can start your plank the other way around and put your feet here. and instead walk up with your hands. Just a variation. Okay. I would love to see 2 to 3 minutes of that variation. Depending on you, you'll probably find, my ladies, that the upper body is going to fatigue before the legs. If that's the case, that tells you what you should be working on. We are down on the ground, so I'm going to take advantage because we're all full of turkey and stuffing. And we're going to sit on the platform for just a couple of minutes. And I hit the power button. Again, we're still keeping this at about a mid. Could progress to a bit of a higher speed if you've been doing this platform already, or this position already. I like to have the controls in front of me so my bum is not hitting them and speeding it up or speeding it down. My legs are out straight in front of me. My heels are flat on the ground. We're just going to lean forward slightly, and you'll feel, it just feels good, especially if you're really full. For those of you working on skin tone, weight loss, I always recommend adding a little bit of direct massage just to ramp up the skin tone, help with recovery. This is a really good way, instead of having to do manual stretches or something, you can help with the flexibility and the recovery piece while you're massaging that skin tone. If you want to add a little bit of stretch into it, that's fine. You know, and I would say this would be maybe 1-2 minutes max is all we're going to do on this. Now, that was a very short 2 to 3 positions. And as I said, I'd like to keep things short, sweet, and I would prefer if that was not challenging for you, or your goal is to build more of a sweat, build up the durations, do reps. So now that we've done this for a minute, okay, guess what? You're not tired yet? You want to sweat more? Do it again. So we're going to start with our step ups. 2 to 3 minutes. And if you are dealing with joint pain or fatigue, you might find, instead of, doing 5-10 minutes of one position, it's going to be less taxing on the joint. Mix things up. Okay? So 2 to 3 minutes of your step ups. Okay? The next position was a push-up plank combo. Hands are shoulder width apart, shoulders above the hands. Go straight, and we're just going to walk up. Hold for 2 to 3 seconds, and walk back. Hold for 2, back up. Okay, 3 to 5 reps, it really depends on you. Okay, if you're finding that's, again, more taxing on the arms, that's an area that you may want to focus on. Drop to the knees and push those arms a little bit further. Okay, last position was seated. We sat on the platform for 1 minute. And as I said, you could turn that into a stretch. So there's really 4 basic positions outside of the warm-up that we started with. If you want to do 3 to 5 reps, you're probably going to be anywhere from about 15 to 20 minutes total workout time, just to give you some parameters. I hope that was short and sweet, but not too simple. I want you to be excited and jazzed by these exercises, but sometimes if they're a little too complicated or too exotic, it's, what's the word? It's demotivating. It's like something else you got to learn after you just had a big turkey. You're kidding me. So a few things I just, if you do want to do a big workout after you've had a big meal, I recommend waiting, like I say, 3 to 4 hours. But I do recommend not just retiring to the couch if you've had a huge meal. If you've eaten more than your share and you got some extra gravy and potatoes inside, moving is going to do a lot of benefit. Just standing up, doing the dishes, keeping an upright position. The last thing that you want to do is lay down, get into that recliner, and be less active. You're going to have digestion problems. Other little tips that I had written down here as I was surfing. And that's going to, as I said, a little bit of activity post-meal is going to help regulate blood sugar levels as well. Sip on some water. Don't guzzle it, but drinking some water, sipping on maybe some herbal tea post big meal is going to help you just aid in digestion again. It's going to help keep you hydrated. You've probably, if you're eating all the gravies and the stuffings and all the pickles, you probably get a little bit of extra salt as well. So it's going to help rid yourself of excess salt. What else? Oh, and it's going to help with prevent constipation. A little bit of light exercise or a little bit of movement after a big meal and staying hydrated is going to go a long way to not being so bunged up if that's a common thing for you. And I would avoid pop and carbonated drinks. Even though we think sometimes the bubbly makes us feel better, those itty bitty gas bubbles can actually, take up space and make you in the long run feel more bloated than had you not had the drinks, because they got to work themselves through the system just as much as everything else that you're digesting, and it's going to take there's going to be more gas and more coming out later on. So as much as sometimes a carbonated pop or a bottle of bubbly might taste good post meal, you may find that the carbonated drinks are actually contributing to that bloated feeling if that's something that you experience after a big meal. So something to think about. And another really good one I saw was leftovers. Don't take them or give them away. Be not that we want to turn away the pies and all these amazing recipes that come out 1-2 times a year. It's very easy to take leftovers home or have too many in the fridge and relive that meal that you had the day before as far as portion size. We have a tendency to eat more leftovers because we've got the mind of the meal in our head. So if you are going to have leftovers, maybe pre-portion them into proper sizing. My dad used to make up all these homemade TV dinners, and we'd be having turkey dinner for months, it seems sometimes. Or just be selective in your leftovers. Perhaps some turkey and some salad versus just taking the pecan pie and the marshmallow salad and all the chocolate Easter eggs and things like that. So, and same with the kids. It's my children are not as believers as much this year as they have been in the past, and it doesn't mean that you can't give them treats, but I like to give them activities and games and kites and bubbles and other things besides pounds and pounds and pounds of chocolate. Something to get the creative mind going as well, that left brain exercise. So what am I seeing here? JJ just got the Swift, great for walking. So yeah, like today, a little bit of just movement after a big meal is a good way, like I say, to aid in digestion, keep those blood sugar levels. 3 to 4 hours after a big meal, that's when you can pick her up and put, burn those calories, boost that metabolism. There's lots of reasons that you don't skip the workout. Just, don't admit defeat just because you ate too much. Do something at least to help yourself move and feel better and have a better sleep that night versus feeling all bloated and gassy for a couple days after. Diane is here from Connecticut. I don't know if I said that. If you do have any questions, please post those now. JJ says that she's been doing less pop, following up with water, and it is helping a lot. That's awesome to hear. Everybody's kind of got their vice. And when I was younger, I always used to think I felt better. I used to love ginger ale, or 7-Up, or that's usually my pop go-to if I'm going to have something. And a few years ago for Christmas, they got me the Soda Stream, the family, and I never use the darn thing. I don't mind carbonated water with a little lime, but the pop, I just don't have, unless it's a really hot summer day and there's something else mixed in with it. It's usually my last go-to. And I admit too, I don't know if I made a conscious decision to cut back on it, but I certainly notice, to be honest, my digestion issues. Not that they were terrible before, but I just figured I was full, and it takes, what do they say, 20 minutes to tell your brain that it's full. So if you're feeling, stuffed 5-10 minutes into a meal, that you're going to be feeling that a little bit later on. And I just always thought the pop was the digestion aid, like the old Eno commercials or something. So things you learn as you get older. So no, that's cool. I'm glad. Thank you for validating that point. There was a lot of common things that I found online, but that was a good make sense one to me. And I hope you all had a wonderful Easter. Today was very simple. Like I say, whether it's Easter or just any day of the week, and you have found that you've overdone it in the form of your food consumption, it's okay to be active. The last thing you should do is retire to the couch and lay down or get into the recliner. You should get moving. If not around the house, even a light walk or a light bike or a light walk on the treadmill, as JJ's got. And it is okay to work out with intensity, but keep it to about 3 to 4 hours after that big meal. Ramp up the calories, get that metabolism boosted. It's going to help oxygenate the blood. It's going to help with detoxification, just everything else. There's no reason you cannot work out after a big meal. You just got to know the parameters. We all think, we can't go swimming within, everybody knows that, but nobody knows where they know it from. You hear something often enough and you think it's true, right? So everybody's a little bit different, and you have to adhere to what you may or may know about yourself and adhere to your own self-care. These were just a few suggestions I thought interesting today. And if you have any other tips that you would like to put in a comment or a feed after the fact, or for those of you watching this as a recording after the fact, please feel free to do so. Ironically, tomorrow I am doing another special workout, same time, same place, except on Tuesday for IBS Day. It is World IBS Day. Sort of related to overeating. A lot of the things that I would discuss and some of the things I might show you on the machine would be similar. But tomorrow is going to be some self-care tips. If you are dealing with IBS, or you know someone who has IBS, or you just have, issues in that area, whether there's a label on your condition or not, if you've got concerns in the bowels, in the urinary incontinence, any of those type of things, we're going to have some discussions tomorrow, and I'm going to give you some machine tips as I always do. I wish you a very good Monday. Don't work too hard, and I'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Thanks, Diane. Thanks, JJ. Thanks, Laura. Thanks, Kim. And thank you, Restream, Laura, and Superdog Olive. Have a good day, guys.